And welcome. Thank you very much. Please come again. Oh shit, wrong accent. Shit. Wrong accent, my bad. We are live and in colour, back on a Sunday night for another episode of Paradym Bold. Just a couple of small announcements to get started. One, keep an eye out on the channel for a second D&D campaign coming up, probably the end of April. I'm going to be running a official sourcebook campaign for a couple of other people that I know from America. So it'll be during the day, my time. So it'll be done on a Thursday on the channel, but for those of you in the US, it'll be on a Wednesday night. Won't start till after daylight saving ends here, and then we can get sort of times and that organised. But it'll be Wednesday night US time, Thursday around 11 a.m. lunchtime, our time here in New Zealand. It'll be using the Curse of Strahd sourcebook from D&D. I love vampires, so why not do another vampire type campaign? But this will all be official content. We've got 4 players pinned down for it. Our young friend Mr. Savage will be playing in that game, so I've got to run through some stuff with him, help him out with some things that he's not able to do at the moment, but that'll be going ahead. But apart from that, it's all pretty cool. Everyone out there in internet land going through this all this crap with COVID-19 at the moment, all I got to say about that is just, if you don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere. Stay at home, wash your hands, don't touch people, handshaking, all that sort of stuff. Just try and keep to as much to your own personal space as possible until the panic blows over. It will end eventually. We're seeing things like, we're seeing it here in New Zealand now, the stock market's starting to change. I've noticed, especially with I purchase a number of stuff online from overseas, and the exchange rate has gone absolutely into the toilet. So now everything's costing more. So we're pretty much not buying anything online at the moment to stem that. Yanti with a resub, 6-month resub from the Yanti, aka Fiala, aka Fiala Bear, aka the Beaver. So just be mindful of your personal hygiene, guys. Let's and try not to panic. I mean, the whole panic buying thing is getting out of control. So just keep calm and stay safe. Right. Enough of that garbage. Last episode, we found you guys were having had a bit of a worm issue last episode. So we'll get into the recap, unless any of you guys got something to say at all. No comments from the players. No. Nope. Righty ho. Yes, Alessandros, you got something to say? Yeah, I thought so. Well said. Anywho, so without further ado, we will get into tonight's episode of Paradym Bold, Campaign 1, Episode 30, guys. We're 30 episodes in. It's awesome. Nice round figure. I like round numbers. So, Episode 30. The Carrion Crypts Part 2. After taking a short rest to tend to your wounds and etc., Sadiq expressed his concerns about Het's new abilities, and proceeded to descend into the tunnels beneath the bastions, between the bastions' foundations. You found yourselves in what looked like some kind of catacombs, the walls and ceilings covered in some form of mucus, and patches on the floor as well. It was all very sticky and disgusting. There were open tunnels in parts of the walls and ceilings. Also, you were in this long corridor and discovered another door. Het cast his detect magic spell once again to reveal some form of evocation magic surrounding the door. Again, Mage's Hand was put into play by Alessandros, and once again set off a magical trap. The party all took damage as a large ball of cold energy surges forward through the corridor, striking everybody. Entering the large round room, you discovered more magical traps, hit marking them to avoid tripping them and causing more damage to the party. You then proceeded further into the catacombs and discovered a small batch of carrion eggs. Electing to move on, Het hung back a little and attempted to snatch one of those eggs, although upon attempting to pick it up, breaks it, killing the young carrion worm in the process. He then tried to revive said carrion worm and took some poison damage for his troubles. Delving further into the catacombs, another trap was set off, both Alessandros and Sadiq both taking bludgeoning damage as a trap in the stairwell was dropping rocks on the group as you proceeded forth. You then found a large room which looked like a family-style crypt with several markers marking some form of grave. Alessandros was intending on potentially robbing these graves, looking for the items that you were indeed searching for in these catacombs. Sadiq and Het convinced Alessandros that it was probably not the best idea and to disturb the dead. Not long after that, a low rumbling was heard, and within a short time, 2 large Carrion Crawlers burst into the room. Combat ensued. You all vied for position in this room. Inari again showing her skill in combat, dealing some massive damage. Sadiq dealing the final blow to the first of the creatures, and then Inari finishing off the final crawler with another barrage of arrows. Battered and bruised, you proceeded forward, only to find yourselves back in the same round room with the magical glyphs you found when you entered into this catacombs. After a little bit of discussion, you decided to make camp in the 10-foot wide corridor right outside the crypt that you found to try and recover after the battle. And this is where we rejoin our heroes, the Lions of Valand, in episode 30, Carrion Crypts Part 2. So, team, you are back into the corridor at the angled junction, which had that small short passage to, how was it 86? I checked it yesterday.
I didn't roll until just before we started.
Oh, so you were behind everybody else.
Yeah, well, we were meant to roll at the start of the show, so...
Did you not read the Discord?
Nope.
Clearly not. So bear with me while I catch reset this for those that are a little slow on the Discord.
Slacker.
Everyone else read the Discord.
I haven't loaded Discord that much this week.
Easy fix though, so we're good there. Too easy, just like that. Right, so yes, it was decided the party that we're going to camp in this narrow corridor leading to the crypt. So we're back with the group, getting ready to try and camp in this passageway.
Am I still poisoned?
You were poisoned for 1 minute, so no, your poison would have worn off by now. You'll be no longer poisoned.
Yay!
But you were all sitting, and well, you weren't. You were standing, probably still, or trying to organise what you're going to do. Were you going to sort of lay camp, whatever? Up to you guys. What you're going to do. Discuss away how you're going to do this.
I don't think it was the overlay that we were talking about, but okay.
Oh, the chat's working, Yantis. The Discord one is not.
The little buttons that appear above our heads.
So, guys in the chat, you'll notice that the Discord overlay is not working. So when a character talks, you won't see the little light up above their names. So if you are having issues trying to figure out who's talking, just chuck a message up in the chat. One of the mods will fill you in, but I'll try and get through. You should be able to recognize most people's names by now, I would imagine.
Maybe.
So, team, what are your plans?
All right, who wants to take first, second, and third watch?
I only need 4 hours, so I don't mind taking it first.
He's just happy taking first with Anari if she likes.
That's cool.
I'll take second.
No, I guess I'll go third.
So, first watch, Anari and Het. Second watch, Alshonris, and third, Sadiq. You position yourselves in this narrow. It's like I said, the corridor's only 10 feet wide, so you could probably sit down on one on opposite side of the wall, sort of feet out, and you probably have to have your legs up. You wouldn't be able to stretch your feet out without touching someone else. You position yourselves, I would imagine, sort of grouped together. Again, it's not cold down here, but you kind of try and group together to try and stay as warm as possible. Obviously, those that are staying up for watch would just remain awake, standing, I would assume, or sitting, up to you. But it's a pretty narrow passage, so there's not a huge amount of room here. So, with the first watch, Het and Anari, are you seated, standing? What position are you going to take? With you've got a corridor leading basically both ways. One back into the crypts, so you're pretty much on that corner. So you can see into where you just had the fight with the Carrion Crawlers, and then you've got the corridor, which is probably 40 or 50 feet to another turn, and you can't really see past that turn.
It guesses if everyone sleeps to sort of one side, then we can sort of patrol back and forth, keeping an eye on both ends. If that's easy.
I was just about to suggest something similar as well.
So yes, standing would be Het's preferred method as he walks back and forth.
Okay, so you're both standing, sort of every now and again, sort of patrolling from one end of the group to the other, just trying to keep an ear out and an eye out for any potential threats or danger. Both of you roll. Have you both got dark vision by any chance?
I
It
have
does
super.
not.
I have super dark vision.
Yeah, you've got dark vision. I know you've got dark vision. You're an elf. That's fine. But it's dark down here. There is no torches lit. I think you guys had torches. I think you guys had torches lit in the crypt, but they probably would have gone out by now.
Yes, Het will cast light on his loot, but he will use a piece of. I have a piece of clothing in my backpack. I'll just cover the end of it so it's not turbo bright, but
Okay.
it's just giving enough as a small torch to not wake the others.
My dark vision's up to 90 feet.
I know that. Thank you. So yeah, so you walk backwards and forwards. So I get you both to roll a perception check for both hearing and vision.
Het on vision gets 5.
Well, it's a general perception check, so it's for both.
Okay,
It's,
5 all around anyway.
you can use your passive for this as well.
16.
Passive would be 13.
13. So with that, you guys wander backwards and forwards over the course of your sort of 2 to 3 hours of watch, and you hear you hear the usual stuff you'd hear in an underground cabin, like a catacomb, an old catacombs. You hear the wind sort of blowing through the tunnels every now and again, the occasional drip of water. You still hear that scuttering of insect-style feet, which you know are crawlers. You know there are crawlers present in these catacombs. You know you've taken a risk beating down in this passage, but you believe that's probably the safest option at this point. But your watch generally goes without incident. Is there anything you guys wanted to discuss with each other during the course of this watch?
Yes, Het will check with Anari over the 2 to 3 hours of watch. Hey, Anari, just as we pass each other, I'll call out. Good work with the bow and arrow skills. I see you're quite adept at taking out large creatures with it. That is excellent. How long have you been training?
My entire life.
Is that all you've ever known?
Yes.
It is troublesome to me. You see so well in the dark. I always have to light up my loot to be able to see anything. It is one of those hassles. I always ate a lot of carrots when I was younger, as I was told, but it did not seem to do much for me in the dark. Any recommendations you have for maybe me being able to see? You don't seem to have an issue with.
I think it's just a birth thing, to be honest. But you could try squinting your eyes every so often, close them for 5 seconds, open them again, close them and open them again.
Should I do this while we're in the dark or while staring at a fire?
While staring at a fire.
The only reason I say that is like, maybe it would burn into your eyes. It seems a little silly, but I can give it a go.
Have a try, see how you find it.
Head squints a little, looking at his loot, the head of his loot. That's the only lights that he's got. And then he does it a few times in a row, and then looks off into the dark and just sees like someone's just flashed him with a camera.
Pretty much, yeah. You get
Is
those.
it working?
You get those real bright spots in front of your eyes. Every time you close your eyes, you just get that real bright, like sun center. Like, if you look at the sun too long and then you close your eyes, you still see the sun right in the center of your eyeball and nothing else. And every time you close your eyes, it's exactly what you see. It's just that point of light from your loot.
I'm chuckling to myself as I walk.
Oh, thank you, Larry. I'll keep practicing. But like I said, kudos on the awesomeness of the bow.
Thank you. You might actually find that getting some glasses like Ali would be helpful as well.
Yes, I should look into that. Might be something maybe I will get my compass out and see if I can do some work on that. Maybe that can help me to see.
Who knows?
And then he continues on his way, chuckling to himself.
And you do so. You both pass each other every sort of so often. You sort of swap ends and walk back and forth, and you give each other a smile and a nod, and sort of recognition of the humour that was shared. You both then complete your watch with no incident. Like I said, you do hear those insect scuttlings every now and again, but nothing seems to be too close. But your watch comes to an end with no major incidents, and you wake Alessandris for her watch.
Ellie, wake up. It's your turn.
Already? Okay.
Nothing to report. It's been quiet. So really, I guess, take it easy. Watch our backs.
I'll try and do that. Yeah, okay.
Right, so as Het and Anari, you both settle yourselves in as best you can in this dampish, slimy corridor. Alessandris, you pretty much do the same thing. You sort of walk backwards and forwards from sort of one end of the group to the other, just every now and again having a look down the corridor. The Het's loot is probably out now, so you're relying on your goggles to see.
Het's loot stays alight while he says a small prayer.
Okay.
And then just asking his overseers to keep an eye on him, basically. And then he would turn the loot out after that.
Okay, no problem. No problem at all. So, Alessandris, you, after about an hour, you get the distinct feeling that you're being watched. You just, it's really odd. You just feel like someone's watching you. Can I get you to make a perception check for me, please?
$15.
15. You sort of wander back towards the crypt, and you sort of peer into the crypt a little bit, and just briefly you see a shadow dart back into the corridor at the opposite end. It was very quick. You're not quite sure what it was, but something definitely moved. You can't hear anything. You sort of stand there and listen. You strain your eyes with your goggles to sort of see if anything moves again. Nothing, and after about 2 or 3, 4 minutes, nothing moves. And you strain to hear. You still only hear that little bit of wind blowing through the tunnels and the dripping of water. The occasional scuttering of the crawlers in the inside the walls and underground. But you swear you saw something.
Am I able to find like loose pebbles and all that around?
You could look around for some. There'd definitely be some loose rubble in that around with the tunnels where the crawlers had sort of come through. So there'd be like patches where there might be some small stones or dirt even lying around for sure. Probably more so into the crypt than in the hallway you're in.
Just get some, grab a handful and put them near each end of the doors.
Okay, so like dirt or pebbles specifically?
Pebbles.
So I would say it probably takes you a few minutes to sort of find enough to do what I think you're trying to do. And you, at the sort of entryway of the crypt, you layer a few pebbles out across the doorway, and then you go probably 30 or 40 feet down the corridor and do the same. Is that all you really wanted to do?
Yeah.
Okay. After about 20 or 30 minutes, that feeling comes back to you again, that something or someone is watching you. You can't shake it. It's right in the back of your mind. You know that feeling you get. You hear stand up, and you just know you're being watched. Someone's looking at you. The heat on the back of your head. You sort of just feel it. I'll get you to roll another perception check for me. By this time, you made your way back to the opposite end of the corridor now, away from where the crypt is.
21.
21. 1 second. Again, you catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of your eyes. You sort of peer into the darkness. Right on the edge of your vision with the goggles, you see again that slight movement that you can't quite tell what it is. Again, you hear a slight sort of shift on the concrete floor, and then straining to listen and see over the next 2 or 3 minutes, again, nothing. But you are now 100% sure you saw something. Something is in this corridor with you guys.
Cautiously wake up my fellow companions.
Do you do it loudly or quietly? How do you wake them up?
Quietly.
So you go one by one and just shake them awake?
Yeah.
So as you do so, you go one by one. You first come across an Ari who's sitting against the wall opposite you. So you sort of just walk up gently, shake a shoulder.
Jump up.
You then move. Do you say anything to her as you wake them up?
Yeah, just telling them to be quiet. Being watched.
Tell them that, not me.
Quiet, we're being watched.
Which way?
Not sure.
And all of you get the same message as Alessandra slowly works her way down the line of people. Anari first, then Fiela, Sadiq, then Het. You all get shaken awake. Hand across the mouth. Shh! You're being watched. As you all come to consciousness. What are you guys doing?
I relay to the group what I've been hearing, not so much seeing, but hearing, and a gut feeling, I suppose you could call it.
Yeah.
I have put pebbles down towards the entrances of either end, just in case they are making any advancements, but I haven't heard anything as of yet.
And Ari, what's your passive perception?
My passive perception is 14.
You've got 90 feet of dark vision. Looking, sort of peering into the darkness from where you are down the long corridor, you also see movement, sort of darting movement. Sort of looks like it was sort of peeking around the corner of that bend in the corridor and sort of darts back as it thinks it might, whatever it is, might have been seen. It sort of you see that slight movement, some form of shadow. Can't make out what it is. You didn't hear anything, but you definitely saw something with that with your dark vision out to that length. Hit, I'd say you're probably closest to the crypt end. You don't have dark vision, but I would say, what's your passive perception? 13. I would say with your you'd have reasonably good hearing. You hear like a rock sort of just moving slightly, like a rock sort of rolled half a roll on concrete floor, and it kind of echoed a little bit through the crypt. The crypt's, it's all concrete and it's quite open. You hear some kind of movement in the crypt. It's not walking. It's just you heard something that's probably not natural, or that you don't perceive to be natural.
Hit telepathically, one by one, quickly, to each of his comrades. I'm not sure even if they know he can do that, some of them might. Just as, I heard something down this end. Quiet.
I look at Hit and say, I saw something.
And with you guys poised at the ready, can I get who would Anari?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get you to hang on 1 second? Let me make a couple of rolls here. What's your AC?
17.
You take 2 points of piercing damage as an arrow strikes you in the shoulder from the darkness. And then, in a flash of arcane energy and purple light, a hooded figure, is standing virtually right in front of you. He is what you can see in the dim light especially with your dark vision. He is hooded, has very dark complexion. He's standing with two long curved blades at his sides, both at the ready. And you guys, Anara, you definitely see it 'cause he's standing right in front of you. Alessandro, you'd probably see it too, but you'd probably see more just the hood and not much of the facial features. At the opposite end, however, Hit, you're probably the first to see two figures dart forward very, very quickly. Again, that same flash of arcane blue and purple energy, which Hit you would probably know is a teleportation spell. And two more hooded figures, each carrying what looks to be a small hand crossbow of some sort and a long-bladed weapon that come from the opposite end of the corridor from the crypt area. I will get everyone to roll initiative, please.
Okay, I was about to say, do I have a chance to knock a bow?
You do not have a chance to react to that particular action there, but we're going to switch over to a battle map. So as you guys see, let me just alter the camera here a bit. You guys are all grouped up right on the sort of the bend there, which is where you wished to be. Just gonna roll some initiative here for those guys. So, Alessandro, your initiative, please.
10.
10. Hit.
It's starting off like last night. Natural 1.
Oh, crap. Fiela.
18.
18. Inari.
16.
16. And Sadiq.
13.
13. So at the top of the
Alexandra?
round, Alexandra was first.
Oh, okay. You're up.
At the top of the round, the figures from the crypt end get their turn, and they both just rush forward with pretty quick. They almost seem to be floating as they charge forward. And straight into pretty much blocking the corridor, side by side, run straight up. They are on this end here. We have Sadiq, Fiela, we've got Het here. Pop you two around, so Inari and Alessandros at the end there. They run straight at you and immediately stop. They don't attack. They just stop. Bows drawn. Both have their small crossbows. They're knocked and they're pointed directly at you. You then hear the other figure speak as he weapon still ready to attack. Give us the wood elf, and the rest of you may leave.
Okay.
What elf? That would be me.
You are not the one we seek. We're talking about the druid.
Like hell.
No way. You're not taking her. What is this about?
This is none of your concern. We are here for her and her alone. Stand aside.
If you want her, you tell us why.
We don't have to tell you anything. We can kill you and leave your bodies here for the Carrions, or you can hand her over and leave her alive. Your choice.
No. You are not taking her.
Very well. Your decision has been made. And with that, he steps forward into you, Inari, and makes his... the other warriors make their attack against Sadiq and not you, Fiela. They both attack Sadiq. What are we going to do here? They will... He will make 2 melee attacks against you, Sadiq. The first one, 19 and a 17 to hit.
Both hit.
You take 7 points of piercing damage and 10 points of poison damage as the poisoned blade of these figures strikes across your upper torso, finding the kinks in your armor. The second attacks misses with a critical fail on 1, but strikes true with the second with a 25. So again, you take 7 points of piercing damage and 10 points of poison damage. That first attack, sorry, would have been 14 and 20. Was hit with both. So total damage will be 30 points of poison and 21 points of piercing. Next in line is Fiela. It is your turn.
Well, I'm kind of torn now. I don't. I'm gonna cast a first level second level Cure Wounds on Sadiq.
Not a problem. Cast away.
And that's 13 of healing for him.
Not a problem. So that's your action. Was it a bonus action or an action, that spell?
That's an action.
Action. So bonus action, you can cast a cantrip.
I'll do Shillelagh at the one in front of him.
You can fire away. Or strike away.
That'll be 9.
That misses.
Alright.
You sort of they both attack Sadiq, and you turn and it's like you're a little shocked that they didn't attack you, and you're a little confused, and you see that Sadiq's taken some pretty serious damage, so you reach out, heal him, and then turn to strike at the enemy, and again the confusion and sort of the damage, you're not quite with it, and your attack goes wide and strikes the wall. That is pretty much your turn. You can't really move. You're kind of blocked in there at the moment. And Nari, it is now your turn. Sadiq, you're up after that.
How close is that person next to me?
He is in melee contact with you.
I need to move out of melee range.
You do, but you will take an attack of opportunity if you do so.
Tough. I'm going to move further down the corridor. I'm going to go around.
So you're going to go away from the party?
Only way to do it, unfortunately.
So how far are you going to go?
20 feet.
You're going to get just out of we'll bring that up there a little bit so just see you there. You will take an attack of opportunity as you leave this figure's line of sight. He rolls a natural 20 on the attack.
Right.
You will take... Oh, this is not good. As you move around and move away from him, he strikes up, and you sort of turn as you move, and you notice that the blades both just start to emanate a dark shadow from both blades. They both almost disappear in this sort of shadowy aura. You then feel the blow as it strikes across your back, and you take 21 points of necrotic damage. As he strikes across your back. You also take 8 points of piercing damage and 10 points of poison damage.
Could you not just give it to me all in one fell hit?
Actually, no, sorry, I need to adjust that. Not 8 points of piercing damage, it would be 16 points of piercing damage because of the critical. So your total will be 21 plus 16 plus 10.
Right, done it. So, I have moved.
And you have moved, and you've taken a huge amount of damage as you pass out, and you almost stumble and fall as you take this damage. You then...
Unfortunately, I didn't dodge him.
No, you did not. You then... Here's turned to face you as you run away. You then make your attack.
Bonus action, I cast Hunter's Mark.
You cast the Hunter's Mark as a bonus action on who?
The one that hit me.
One that hit you?
Yep. And then I'm going to use my... Can I still use my third attack?
So it's your first attack of the round, so you get you get your 3 ranged attacks.
Right, I'm going to use Sharpshooter.
You're going to use Sharpshooter. So are you going to use it on all 3 attacks?
All 3 attacks.
You take a -5.
First one is 15 to hit.
That misses. Your second attack.
18.
That also misses.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, that one does hit. So your third attack does hit. You take your plus 10.
Yep.
And your 2d8 on this third attack. Maths hard, people.
Oh,
33.
How much?
33.
How do you get 33 on a dirty 20 on 2d8 plus 10? It's
That
impossible to
is
get 33.
plus my plus 6 for
So you rolled-
my hunter's mark.
You rolled 8s.
I rolled a 5 plus 5 is 10. 6
Yeah.
plus 5 is 11.
You only get your
Add the
plus
other
5
10.
once.
I get
It's
it
only
for
one
each time I
attack.
hit. Oh shit. Yep. Okay.
You
So
only
take
hit.
5
You
off
only
that.
hit once, so you only get 1 plus 5, not 3.
Add take a 5 off that, then so it makes it 28.
It won't be less than 28 too. So you rolled a 5 on your weapon damage, yeah.
I rolled a 5 on my weapon damage.
So that's 5 plus 5 is 10.
Plus 10 is 20.
Plus 10 is 20, and a d6. You can't get an 8 on a d6.
2.
Right, so 22 damage.
So where did you get the 2d8?
Oh, you do actually, no, you do. You get 2d8 on that.
Thank you. So add another 6.
Another 6. That's 20. That is 28.
Yep.
Sorry, my bad. Because that was your third strike, which was your bonus attack, which is a 2d8, not 1. So you fire, you take that damage, stumbling, and he's opened up a really nasty wound across your shoulders. But you still manage to turn and fire your first 2 arrows, firing wide. That wound has taken its toll and has had your aim is slightly off. But you take a breath on that last strike and just hold it just for a second and release your arrow and strike him just below the ribcage. And you can hear the wind sort of be taken out of his lungs briefly, and he sort of stands up to his full height and just glares back at you, looks at you, and then turns back towards the rest of the group. That is your turn, Anari. Sadiq, it is now your turn.
Is my amulet glowing?
Your amulet is glowing, I believe. Let's see. It is glowing with a radiant yellow.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna attack one of the ones that attacked me.
So you got 2 to choose from. You either one, left or right.
I go left.
Left, no problem.
24 to hit.
Your first strikes true, and you do hit. You put it both strikes on the same dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
19 damage.
19 damage for the first strike. And your second strike.
That'd be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, that also hits as well.
6. That would be 18 points of damage.
18 points. Beautiful. You strike out at the creatures, one of the creatures standing in front of you, and he tries to defend against this heavy sword that you carry. Dealing what? Did you use a right on that at all?
Yeah, I've turned it into a dawn right. So
okay, so dawn, so it's radiant damage. So the radiant damage flashes out against this creature. The damage is sufficient to stagger him just enough, but he stands back up, almost puffs his chest out as if to say, "That didn't hurt," and is standing fast. You can't really move because you're blocked in by Het and Fiala, and the corridor is quite narrow, and these guys are really pushing in against you as well, so you're kind of stuck where you are at this point, but you still do have a bonus action.
No, that's
Nope,
it.
you stay where you are. With that, the lead figure that spoke to you now takes his turn, and he pretty much ignores you now, Anari, and charges straight into Het, recognizing your loot and recognizing you as a caster. He steps into you, and he What does he do? Right. The drow turn. I mean, you guys now know. You can see them quite clearly with this close proximity. These are indeed drow. They're dark elves. He turns to you, Het, and strikes out again 2 attacks with this this blade that is emanating a dark shadow. The first one strikes you with a 17. The second with a 24. And the shadow seems to spread. Ooh. Within 10 feet over 5. The darkness fills an area of about. Where is my pen? It's about 20 feet. So it pretty much covers that entire area that you guys are all standing in. You're looking at roughly a 20-foot square.
Did he take damage from that?
You will do. I'll gonna mark off. Inari, you lose sight of everybody. Even with your dark vision, the darkness you can't seem to pierce with your dark vision. Het, you do indeed take 16 points of piercing damage and 20 points of necrotic damage, and 20 points of poison damage from both those strikes.
Het. Oh, I need to get it. Yes, Het is down.
Het is down.
Het is down.
Het. Pretty much, I don't. Actually, no one can see this because you're all heavily obscured by this particular darkness. So no one actually sees Het go down. You do hear something, so that you probably feel something hit against the back of your legs, as Het does indeed fall unconscious behind you. With that, the creature speaks again, and again says, "Give us the elf, or you all shall perish here this day."
No.
So none of you respond?
What do you want with me?
Who's next up in the order?
You are.
Take attack.
You what now?
Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm just going to try and attack him.
You can't see anything right now, so you can't attack anything.
What type of darkness is that?
It is a magical darkness.
Because at the present moment, I have the radiant light exposed coming out of my sword.
And the radiant light is swallowed inside this darkness. There is no light whatsoever. You guys are all blind. You cannot see. All you can hear is the voice of this drow asking again for you to stand down and hand over the elf.
Never.
Can I cast a spell?
You can attempt to cast a spell on your turn. And with that, with the response you got, Alessandra, it is now your turn. You can make an attack, but it'll be at disadvantage because you are not sure where he is. You heard him speak, so you got a rough idea of direction. So I will give you an attack with disadvantage.
Do I have sneak attack advantage?
No, you do
Probably
not.
not. All right. Oh, go for the attack.
So roll 2d20s and take the lowest.
$22.
22. That does hit indeed. You do find purchase as you strike out in blind fury. Roll your damage.
That would be 9.
9 points of piercing damage. You hear him go, ah! And that's pretty much all you hear, because you can't see anything. It's complete and utter blackness. You do have a bonus action attack as well, which will again be still at disadvantage.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, roll your attack for your second attack, which will be at disadvantage.
That disadvantage or advantage?
Disadvantage.
Yeah, I miss.
Okay, so your second attack goes wide. You're not entirely sure where he is, and you're not entirely sure of anything. Hit, it would be your turn. You are unconscious, so I need you to make a death saving throw. Actually, no, you don't. I will be making a death saving throw.
Yes.
One hits first death saving throw. I will mark that down as a fail or a success. Hit, you will not know whether you are going to die or not. I'm not even going to mark it on your sheet.
Sweet ass.
So you have made one death save. We're now back to the top of the round. Again, you guys, you can't see anything. You then once again hear the same plea from, not really a plea, the same order from the main drow. We do not want to end your lives this day. Stand down.
No.
As you wish.
If you don't want to end our lives, fuck off.
We don't want to, but we will if we have to.
Are
And-
you gonna kill me?
We have no intention of killing you, not here. And with that, one of the others strikes out at you, Sadiq, with your defiant no. 2 attacks. Ooh, and they both miss with a 2 and a 4.
Ouch.
But again, they strike out and just seem to strike your armor in all the right places. You don't take any damage at all. The second drow then strikes out and attacks. Misses one with a critical fail. The second is as a 15, which I also think misses.
That's a miss.
Ooh, double
fail.
double whammy.
Critical fail.
So with that, they strike out, and both of them, they both strike your armor, and both miss the attack. Whether it was on purpose or not, you're not entirely sure. But you then hear, you all pretty much hear this. Sneak, you feel it as well. A rushing of air past your face, and you hear as these two, you wouldn't know what's happened. But Inari, you then see 2 of these drow warriors standing in the hallway just before the darkness, facing you.
I don't say how they're facing me.
And with that, it is now Fiela's turn. And Inari, you're up after
So,
that.
I can't really aim for them.
You cannot
'cause-
see anything. You could aim for where you think they were. You're not sure what's happened. You heard the same noise that was in front of you, and you also felt that same rush of wind. But for all intents and purposes, as far as you're aware, they're both still standing in front of you.
Can I feel around for Het's feet so I can cast Cure Wounds on him?
Actually, yeah, I'll allow that. You'd know what Het felt like. I mean, you heard something fall. You know what Het feels like real good. Nutty. Shh. So you feel around and you sort of touch Sadiq and you know, okay, no, that's Sadiq, that's his armor, and you move around and you sort of bend down and you brush across something on the floor, and indeed you brush the feet of Het, who's lying unconscious in the darkness, and you feel the scale, his dragon scale, across the top of his feet. He doesn't wear shoes. Pretty obvious that it's him.
Yelling out his name, trying to see if he can hear me, and I cast 3rd level Cure Wounds on him.
3rd level Cure Wounds. Cast away.
16.
16. Hit, you come to consciousness with that warm, radiant, divine energy of healing power being cast upon you by Fiala. You sort of blink, but you still can't see anything. It's like, oh my god, am I still dead? Am I still unconscious? What the hell? But you are conscious, you are awake, you are still prone, and in complete darkness. Fiala, it's still your turn. You have that was your action, I believe.
Yes.
You have a bonus action and potentially movement, if you wish.
I'm going to use the bonus action of Gift of Ashari on him too.
Nice. So roll your d6.
That would be an 8.
So you also get another 8 points of healing as Fiala touches you again and casts another healing spell upon you.
Hip likes the good touching, but does not know where it's coming from.
Fiala, do you wish to attempt to move?
I'm going to move just 1 square ahead just to give a little wiggle room for everybody.
Okay, so you move forward 5 feet. You don't find the edge of the darkness, but you sort of follow the wall with your hands, and then you realise that you sort of walk forward to where the enemy should be, and they're no longer there. With that is your turn ended. Anari, it is now your turn, with Sadiq up after that.
Oh, no point going for the one in the darkness, even though he's got hunter's
Well, you
mark
can't see
on
him. Well, you know where he is, but you cannot see him. Like you know the direction of what he, even with hunter's mark, you know his direction, but you cannot see him, so your shot would still be at disadvantage.
I am going to drop that and cast Hail of Thorns.
Okay, so you cast Hail of Thorns on yourself. The hunter's mark dissipates. That is your bonus action, your action.
My action, I am going to fire a couple of bolts into the one I
Have
can
arrows,
see.
not bolts.
Bolts, arrows, crossbow bolts, you know.
No, you have
All good.
a
Couple
longbow.
of arrows. Oh, okay. I'm going to throw a couple of arrows into the one in front of me, to the right.
To the right, no problem.
Yeah.
No, that'd be more effective if you used your bow, right?
Yeah. You don't want
Yeah,
to
I'm
throw
just
your
gonna
arrows.
push them. Yeah, I'm just going to play darts tonight, guys. Just saying.
So you knock your first arrow, roll to attack. Are you
I'm
using
gonna-
sharpshooter?
Oh, yeah, fuck it.
You can use sharpshooter, so -5 to your attack on both or just one?
I'll decide after the first one.
Okay, so roll your first attack with sharpshooter.
It goes completely awry and hits somebody else in the
Of what?
foot. I rolled a natural 1.
You rolled a critical fail, so you knock your arrow, and the damage you've taken, that poison damage, the poison's coursing through your veins, and you knock the arrow and your vision goes blurry for just a moment, and you fire your arrow and it just sort of shoots off in a wild angle and strikes the wall, and literally comes down and it disappears into the darkness. You don't know if it hit anyone or not, but it's a wild shot. Completely goes wide.
So, so with that, I decide sharpshooter's not going to work for me this evening, and the
Okay,
second one's a
so
21.
21 with a regular attack, so just roll your d8 plus your modifier.
Oh, fuck me. So that's 6
6
damage.
points of damage.
And then with my hunter's mark...
You don't have hunter's mark. Hail of Thorns.
Hail of Thorns. Seven.
They're gonna roll a dex save as well, which he succeeds. Only takes half damage, so that'll be 3 points of piercing damage.
Yes, that's true.
So you fire your second arrow. I mean, you sort of take a deep breath and not worrying about using your special ability. You fire, you find your arrow finds purchase, and the hail of thorns appears from the ceiling and sprays down. But this creature moves unlike any other elf you've ever seen before. You've only seen a drow once or twice in your lifetime, and these guys move with uncanny speed, and only takes a portion of the damage from hail of thorns. Do you wish to move or bonus? You used your bonus action, so just a movement.
I'm going to use a movement. Am I able to use a movement to take a potion?
No, you may not.
Well, then I'm not going to do anything.
You can use a bonus action to drop a potion, but yeah, I don't.
Can't. I've already used it.
No, I can't. I don't think you would be able to use it as part of your movement. You could get it out ready as part of your movement.
That'll do.
But you wouldn't be able to use it until your next turn. Sadiq, you are up, and you are in darkness. Cannot see.
So Het was behind me.
Het was behind you, yes. Het is still prone behind you, or you would assume that, I mean, you've backed up and there's something on the floor behind you, you assume it's Het.
I'm going to step over Het's body and try to find this dude that's cast the spell.
Okay, roll a... I'd say roll a dex save to see if you are able to step over him without tripping. Margaret with the sub. 2 months. Thank you very much.
23.
23? Yeah, you sort of... You know roughly how big Het is, and you sort of reach out and sort of touch from him, and you sort of step over him. And as you step over him, you pretty much just about walk into this dude. You sort of stand up, and you can feel him right in front of you. Feel his breath on your face. Make your attack, which will still be at disadvantage because you can't see.
Which kind of sucks because I rolled both dice and got a natural 20 on both.
So that's a well. If you rolled a natural 20 on both, that's a natural 20. It's a crit.
Alright, so let's roll the damage now.
So do your damage on your first attack.
I want his dice.
Me too. Might suck.
So you just basically your weapon dice, maximize your first lot of weapon dice, and then roll your weapon dice again. Add to that, and then add your modifiers.
28.
28 points of damage. With your first strike, you strike out, even at disadvantage, not quite, you know he's there, but you can't see him, so you're blindly flailing with your sword. But you find purchase, and again, the strength that you swing that sword, it deals a large amount of damage, striking the drow across his chest. You hear him grunt in pain. Roll your second attack. Again, at
20?
At disadvantage.
Yeah, that's at
disadvantage. You still hit. Roll your damage.
22 points of damage.
22. Again, you hear him take the damage, and as if nothing. You're not sure how much damage he's taken. You can't see him, but he's definitely taking that damage. That is pretty much you. Unless you want to move any more, which you can if you want to.
I'm just wondering if I want to mark this sucker. Nah, that's cool. We'll do.
That's cool. So, Elisandros, it is your turn, and Het, you're up after that. Elisandros, you're in magical darkness. Cannot see. If you wish to attack, you can do so with disadvantage.
Away wildly.
First attack with disadvantage.
So I don't add the hang on, what don't I add?
Actually, no, you wouldn't be able to tell that you have an ally within 5 feet because you can't see anybody. So I'm going to rule that you still do not get your sneak attack
Yeah,
because
no,
you
that's
have
fair
no
enough.
pleasure. So roll 2d20s, take the lowest.
Yeah, I miss.
What did you roll? Always
Hit
tell me your
that
roll.
If you hit that armor class, I miss.
Always tell me your roll.
All right, hang on. $16
So you rolled 16 on your dice, or that's total with your +5?
total. And it's +6.
Not
Using
according
the
to...
rapier.
Oh, using the... So you got to tell me what you're using too, by the way. So you got your rapiers, not your daggers. Right, so so you rolled a 10 on your dice, so 16 total. You do indeed miss with your first strike. Your second strike.
Okay, trying again.
Do you have a dagger in your offhand or a rapier?
Dagger.
Okay, that'd be +5
No.
on your dagger.
And that's 17.
That does
Just.
hit. So you do hit with your offhand. Roll your damage.
5.
5 points of piercing damage as you drive your dagger forward. The first one glancing off the armor, the second finding purchase, slamming into what you assume is the target. You're not 100% sure.
Sorry if it's you, Hat.
But yeah, that is your turn over unless you want to move.
No.
Hit, you are up.
Hit will use his movement to stand.
And you stand up, you're sort of halfway leaning against the wall and you cannot see.
Did Sadiq step over me in front of my body, or am I... How does this work?
Yeah, you did. He did. I moved you. There you go.
Sweet. With Hit's perception in pitch black, well, he wants to... Does he know that there's something or someone in front of him he would have felt someone step over him?
You would have felt someone step over you, and knowing you're reasonably intelligent enough that you would have realised that it was probably Sadiq moving over top of you with the armour and that he wears.
Hit puts his hand on the wall and trails back as far as he can until he gets to light. He has no idea what is going on, nor what is around him after waking up.
This is true. So are you going to do anything at all?
Once, does Hit actually get to the light?
Which way are you moving? The way you towards the...
Away from the enemy.
Away from you?
that I can see on
How
the screen.
far are you going to go?
20 feet, I guess.
Well, you used half your movement. Have you got 40 feet of movement?
No, sorry, I used my half movement to get up. I feel 15.
15. So you're just on the edge of the darkness there. So you sort of, as you take that last step, you sort of you turn and if you turn facing the vault, you're out of the darkness. If you turn around and look back towards where you just came from, you're in the darkness. So you're pretty much right on the edge of it.
Hit gets there, puffing heavily. He holds a symbol of the rattlehead in his hand and he traces a line of a shield in the air and he says, "Mechanics." And he casts Blade Ward on himself, which means any bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage is now halved.
Not a problem. Duly noted. I will mark
That
you
is all for Hit.
with a little ring to say that you are warded. That is it for Hit. So we're now back to the top of the round. The Anari, the two drow in front of you, close ranks and do nothing. They essentially are now blocking your path to anyone else. As the magical darkness dissipates. Everybody that was inside the darkness, which will be Fiala, Sadiq, I would say even you Hit, and Elishandris, you will all take 11 points of necrotic damage as the darkness dissipates. And with that, it is now your turn, Fiela. You can now see as the darkness lifts, that veil sort of clears slowly, and it's almost like you're slowly opening your eyes after having a long sleep. And the darkness lifts. You sort of turn, you see Het standing relatively close to you, as he looking hurt. You turn to the rest of the group, you see the drow leader now standing between Alessandros and Sadiq. He still looks relatively okay. Sadiq is looking hurt, Alessandros is looking hurt. You can't quite see Inari from where you are, but you do sort of see the two figures standing blocking the hallway.
Do I have a line of sight on the guy in the cape close to Sadiq and Al?
You certainly do.
Alright, I'm gonna cast Blight on him.
Blight, not a problem.
And that will be a dirty 21. 21.
You do not have to make roll to hit
Sorry.
for Blight. I have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Ah.
Which, when I have a look at my thing, it's pretty good.
Crap.
He rolls a 16, so I believe that is a save on that, but I'm
Alright.
pretty
so
sure
it's
he
gonna
will
be
take half damage. So what level are you casting it at?
4th level.
Fourth
So
level, so
we're going to
8d.
do some math real quick.
8d8 worth of damage for, and he will take half.
Still counting.
It's all good.
It's a lot of dice to count.
Half of 51 is 26-ish, I guess.
25.
25.
So as you cast your Blight spell, you release the incantation, and it's almost like darkened, twisted, dying veins sort of sprout from the floor beneath him and curl up around his legs and up over his shoulders. And where it touches his skin, you see a dark green, sort of grey, even darker grey than his very dark skin already, sort of creep up and enter into his neck and start crawling up one side of his face. And you see him wince and sort of move his head, and he's definitely feeling that pain. He's not looking too happy at this point. With that, you have a bonus action and a movement still. Miss Fiela, well done.
Use my second gift of Ashari on head again.
No problem. Roll your dice for that.
That's an 8.
Another 8 points of healing for Mr. Hit. With that, if that is your turn, Inari, it is now your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna attack the one that I
One you
went
attacked
for
previously?
last
No worries.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna learn from previous mistakes and just go with normal rolls this time.
Just normal rolls, no worries.
Ah, 20! Nat 20, so that's
Nat
a dirty
20?
30.
A dirty 30. So natural 20, guys. With nat 20, roll your damage. We'll resolve the nat 20 first. So roll your damage for your natural 20, which is 8 plus roll your d8 again, then add your modifier on that. So you're plus 5 or whatever it is. So essentially,
19.
19.
For
There
that
we
first
go.
hit.
19 for your first hit, as you strike true with your first arrow, and he stands there and he takes the arrow. He does not wince, he does not move a muscle. He just stands there and takes that arrow right in the lower rib cage.
Oh, do I get my Hail of Thorns on him as well, don't I?
You've used it already.
Do you have to re-roll each
You have
time?
to cast it.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Yeah, you only get it that one attack.
And my second
Hang on,
was a
let me
hit
double
with
check, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't last for any length of time.
up to a minute.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, you will get Hail of Thorns then, so roll a d6 on top.
Oh, okay. No,
It's-
D8. D10.
D10, whatever it is, yeah. So it's up to a minute. So because you didn't take damage last time, so you are still concentrating on that.
So that's,
I believe it lasts up to a minute, but she can only activate it once, then it has to be reactivated.
no, that's cool.
Next time you hit a creature with a ranged weapon, I was right, yes. So you have to recast it if you want to use it again.
No, it's cool. Yep.
Thanks,
sweet.
Baz.
Anywho, the second one hits with 28.
That's a hit. So D8 plus your modifier. 8 points of damage. Second arrow again strikes virtually the same place. Your aim is impeccable. And again, he does not move a muscle. They are both just standing there staring at you, unmoving, unspeaking.
And as my bonus, come on, my healing potion.
You're not transmitting, by the way.
Oh, for fuck's sake. As my bonus action, I'm going to take a healing potion.
You do that. Remember, if it's a bought one, it does the full amount of healing. So, with that, Sadiq, you are available to attack. You can now see the drow standing in front of you. Blades are still emanating a dark aura. Make your attack, sir.
Alright, so I'm going to resolve both attacks at the same time.
Go for it.
First one is a 21.
That does hit.
And the second one is 19.
That also hits.
Alright, now I'll just do the damage quickly. So, 20 points of damage.
That total?
For the first attack, and the second attack, I'll tell you in a second.
No problem.
$20 damage.
20 damage. You strike as you strike out with your first attack. You again strike. You find that sweet spot, and you hit him just on the top of the shoulder with the large blade, and he takes that damage. And this time again, no sound, unmoving. Looks at you as if to say, "Is that all you've got?" As you strike down with your second blow, a blow that you know should end this creature's life. As your blade strikes the creature, he shifts into almost a shadow type form. His whole body goes from a corporeal mode into more of an ethereal as your blade passes through and strikes the floor. You then watch as one by one, all three drow disappear, ending the initiative. We're no longer in combat.
Well,
That
they
was
fucking
weird.
suck then, don't they?
I'm gonna try and get my arrows back if I can, please.
What arrows?
Well, I missed with about 3 of them.
You can roll an investigation check to find those particular arrows. The arrows that were still lodged in the bodies of the drow are no longer there.
Yeah, no, that I gathered. And
What's your roll? Always tell me your roll.
7.
Dice. You do find them after about 15 or 20 minutes, but they are unusable. The ones that you missed with have struck solid concrete and have broken the shafts of your arrows. So I mean, if you wanted to collect the arrow heads, you could potentially do that. Maybe have some made. Might be just cheaper just to buy some.
Yeah,
But,
no, I'll just buy some next time we go into a city.
Please, guys, always tell me your rolls. So with that, you would have been about halfway through your rest period. What are you guys doing? You've just been attacked, and now these creatures are gone.
So, Fiela, who were they and why did they want you?
I have no idea.
It is broke, team. It needs to sit. It sits down.
Yeah, I kind of crossed my legs and Parkman.
Yes, so both
You don't
hits,
know anything.
yeah, both hits and Anari are both looking severely wounded. Everyone else has taken some pretty reasonable damage, all except Fiala, who took just a small amount of necrotic damage.
Is there any way to rest and salvage that, or?
You can continue your rest. You would have to still complete a long rest from this point, because your rest was interrupted by these entities. So yeah, so you would have to still complete a long rest to regain that full night's rest. So essentially your rest would start again from this point.
Is this the safest place to try and rest again, team? That did not seem as safe as I had expected.
I think we look for some more secure area, maybe.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Hit is not only sore, but is very spent.
Hit, you also suffer from 1 level of exhaustion after becoming unconscious.
It does definitely feel exhausting.
So, what are you doing, guys? You're going to look for a more secure place to rest?
Guess got no choice.
Yep.
So, whereabouts you heading?
Should we go towards the crypt, guys?
I'll be right back.
You guys know, you were in the crypt earlier, you fought the Carrion Crawlers there, and there was a door, a big, large double door that led somewhere. You're not entirely sure where. You opted not to enter that door at the time that you were there and chose to go the other way, which led you back to the large round room where you first entered into the catacombs. And going back the way you came, you would obviously go back down a long corridor, back down through another long corridor, the Carrion egg room, and then back up to that round room again. So it's almost you've gone full circle.
Alrighty.
What about back up through the hole,
I think that's a good idea too.
up to where we destroyed the vampire?
I think maybe go back to the house, even.
Even the house, somewhere where we can be contained.
So, is a decision being made? You're going to head back to the house?
I'm good
Yes,
with
sir.
that.
Okay, so you pick yourselves up. I would say that you probably give a little bit of aid to Het and Inari, who are quite badly damaged. So it takes you a little while to get back up to the house. So you traverse back through the tunnels. You've got to climb up a rope to reach the actual Carrion tunnel, which you use to get to the catacombs. And I would say that everyone would have to make a dexterity check, a strength check, to climb out of the hole that you guys jumped in initially. You got 10 feet to climb, so I'd get everyone to make a single strength check, just to see if they can get up that hole without too many hassles. So, Alessandros, are you back?
Back.
Strength check from you, please.
30-20.
30-20. You have no problems. Hand over hand, you climb up out of the hole back into the room where you downed the vampire. Fiala, your strength check?
15.
Yeah, same thing. You don't have too many hassles. Takes you a little bit longer, but you don't have any problems getting up there. Hit.
Hit rolls a disadvantage
You
because
do,
of his
because of your exhaustion.
Oh shit. I rolled a natural 20 and a natural 1.
Oh shit. Well, we'll get some natural 20s in the chat, guys, for the natural 20. Even though technically
It's a
not.
disadvantage, so technically it's a 1.
Technically, it's a natural 1, but we'll get some natural 20s in the chat anyway. So, Hit, as you go to climb up, you get your first couple of footholds in and your handholds, and you sort of get halfway up, and then your grip just gives away, and you fall 5 feet to the ground. You take no damage, but you fall flat on your back. And it's like, ugh. It takes the wind out of you for a second.
Is this
Correct.
the one that we had the rope to get down with?
No, the second one. You took the first time round. Did you take a rope down the first time round? Or was that the second hole? Because there's
That
one
was
you
the
jumped.
Yeah, the second hole.
Yeah, there's
Because
one
I
you
was
jumped
the
and
second.
one. Yeah, you climbed up the first one without any help. This is the one back into the main chamber of the house. So this one has no rope. So yeah, so hit. You're now flat on your back.
Well, with that being said,
Yes.
I have somewhere here. I know it is. I swear it is. I know I've got it.
You have a what?
50 foot of silk rope.
You do have rope.
I do.
Seeing hit fall flat on his back, are you going to use your rope to aid him?
Yeah.
Okay. So you throw a rope back down the hole for the rest of the group.
And tie it off somewhere, maybe.
Where are you going to tie it off to? You've got, from the hole in that room, you've got a pillar which is probably 40 feet away. So by the time you tie it off, you're probably not going to have enough rope to drop down the hole to reach the bottom. You've got a brazier that you could potentially tie it to. You'd have to check to see how sturdy it is. It may not hold the weight.
I mean, I could help hold. Well,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you could essentially. You got two of you at the top now, which could hold the rope if you wanted to. So Fiala and Alessandros, you could assist Hit in coming up.
sounds like a good idea.
So I will get you two to roll a combined strength check and to see how well you aid Hit in his rope traversal.
13.
13 for you.
16 for
So with an we'll say we average that out about 14, 15. So yeah, with that you struggle a little bit. Hit's pretty heavy, but Hit sort of helps as well. He's using his feet to help push up, and with a few minutes you're able to get Hit to the surface. Anari, your strength check, please.
We could always lower the rope. We could always lower the rope down.
13. Takes you a little longer. Again, takes you a little longer. You're pretty dexterous and pretty light, so you're okay with a 13. And do you lower the rope for Sadiq, or you're going to let Sadiq attempt and fail first?
No, we'll lower it.
You're going to lower it? So make a strength check with advantage with the aid of the rope.
It's 16 anyway.
Yeah, so yeah, you don't have any problems. You probably don't even need the rope. They drop the rope down and you're already halfway up by the time they drop the rope.
Yeah, that works.
So, yeah. So you guys reach the room where you killed Eric the Awesome. Do you rest here, or are you going to go actually back into the mansion itself?
What do you guys want to do? Rest here or go back to the mansion? Mansion.
It is for the mansion where we can close some doors.
Agreed.
So it is agreed that you find your way back to the mansion.
Well, I agreed. I don't know about the other party.
I think everyone's pretty much in agreement.
I'll go with it.
So yeah, so you guys take a little time and you head back to the main house. You bar the doors. You set yourself up to get a good, solid rest. You will. By this time, you're looking early morning. You're probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning by the time you get to actually rest. You do then rest without incident for the remainder of that evening into the morning. You all come to consciousness about 10, 11 a.m., so you get your full 8 hours rest. Spell slots.
Can Hit just do our little thing on his own?
Oh, yes, you can, definitely.
When everyone Hit needs his 24 hours to get rid of this exhaustion, but
He does.
he waits till everyone falls asleep and then he moves to a corner on his own. He takes out his loot and a symbol of the rattlehead. He puts them on the ground in front of him. And he says, "Still, lady, this is garbage. I cannot see in the dark. I cannot. I have not the strength of Sadiq. I have not the skills of Inari. I have not the changeling ability of Chandris, nor the skills of knife work with her. This is failing me, and I am angry, and I desire revenge. And he waits for a moment, and then he says, Rattlehead, give me some aid. And he leaves his loot and the Rattlehead symbol on the corner and goes to bed down.
No problem. During that evening hit, you, after a short time, you wake. Just, you can't help it. You just sort of, you're hurt, you're uncomfortable, you're exhausted, but you still wake just briefly, and you sort of roll over, trying to get comfortable, and you notice that the symbol of the Rattlehead has moved. It's not where you left it. It's hasn't moved far, but it's definitely moved, and it looks slightly different, slightly darker than it once was.
It goes over to it and picks it up.
And as you pick it up, you feel an energy flow through your body, like nothing you've felt before. It doesn't feel dark. It just feels powerful. And then subsides, and you feel comfort again. And with that, you are able to return to your slumber, which you find pretty quickly. Your body is just wrecked, absolutely wrecked, and you just really need some sleep.
It goes back to sleep.
Anyone else want to do anything before they go to sleep, or anything, any kind of ritual before sleeping?
No, I'm good.
I'm gonna sneak over next to Het and then just like curl up and fall asleep.
Spooning!
Careful, that could lead to forking.
So you just curl up sort of next to him. You're not spooning him, of course, unless you want to. But
Just kind of to check on him as
yeah.
he sleeps, kind of thing.
Okay. So you again, and sleep finds you relatively easy. Good one, dude. But yeah, so eventually sleep finds you all. You do get your full allotment of rest by the time you wake, which is later in the morning than usual because you've had this encounter and that. So you all mark off a long rest. You gain spell slots back, maximum HP. Hit, you are still exhausted, however. The night's sleep, although restful, did not seem to completely absolve you of your exhaustion. You know as well as anyone that you need to take a full day of just resting and light duties to really recover from the effects of almost death. And it has taken its toll on you mentally, so...
Hitch will play that down and not let onto his team. He's going to carry on.
Okay.
Just after a long rest, as if no.
Okie dokie, not a problem. You guys, again, you wait. The sun doesn't the sun doesn't stream through the windows, which you guys do actually notice. The sun has come out on this day. The windows are still dirty and dusty, so that you get the sun shafts coming through, but it's still very dim. However, it's a lot brighter than the previous day when you arrived, where the area was very clouded over and dingy and dark. Since the destruction of Eric the Awesome, the land, you assume, has started to recover. The sun is definitely vibrant. As you open the doors and sort of half by step outside to have a look, the sun streams through. It's very bright, very clear day. Still don't hear any birds or animals or any of such, but you do notice a noticeable difference in the atmosphere around the mansion from the previous day. And there we're going to take a break, guys. We're going to take a wee break, drinks, whatever you want to do. We will be back in a few moments to answer any questions. If you have any questions, chat. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out. New subs, rock on, guys. I think we've had a couple of subs there. Let's have a quick acknowledge the subs. We had Moody Gamer dropping in with a 2-month resub. We had Mrs. Muggle, M for Muggle, dropping in with a 2-month resub as well. We had Yanti dropping a 6-month resub. So we've got 3 new subs there. Blue Jay did not sub. It's not showing me that. So I'm not sure. I don't think that's actually come through. But it must have. Yeah, it has not showing it. Did she share it or? Ah, interesting. It didn't come through on my sub list as an alert. I'll have to double check. Yes, please. I'm not going to have a short break. I'm going to hang out here for a bit. So, guys, if you've got any questions, Nutty's going to make a cup of tea for me. I'm going to go check something quickly here. You're just continuing the gifted sub they got from Yante. Awesome, no problem. It didn't come through on the alerts. That's so weird. Yep, hit to wee. Hit's got a wee wee. Sorry for the other hit's got a wee wee. Apologies. We had a follow from Laby Rabbits. Thank you so much for the follow, appreciate it. Megan Locke, we got a follow from you as well. Oh, it was 7 hours ago. Holy crap. Okay. But thank you for that continued resub, Blue Jay. Yeah, it doesn't run out till tomorrow. That'll be why. That's fine. It'll come through tomorrow. That is awesome. But we have just hit 20 subs, guys. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. Nice round figure of the 2-0. If we can get to the 3-5 and if we can get to 35 and hold 35 subs, we're going to do another giveaway from the merch store. But yeah, awesome. 20 subs. That's amazing. Thank you so much for the support. The follows, you guys, amazing. We've hit just over 17,000 views now on the channel, which is amazing as well. I'll stop that music there. We'll stop that as well. But yeah, so we've been having a lot of fun, obviously bringing this show to you guys and the role play and everything else. The players are enjoying themselves. I'm enjoying myself as a first-time DM. I'm enjoying it so much that we're putting on a second campaign, which will be on a Thursday, New Zealand time. It's not going to start for about a month or so, so it's not going to start till the end of April. It will be an official sourcebook campaign, Curse of Strahd, and the players that we have for that will be Deathvale TV from Mixer, Twin Gats Gaming from Twitch, and the Savage Beast Code. You guys in the channel that are regulars will recognise Savage as a return viewer here. Going to try and pin him down, and hopefully he's able to make it every Wednesday. So that'll be the 4 players there. For that, we'll be running again weekly on a Thursday New Zealand time, which will be Wednesday night for those of you in the US. Again, those VODs will go up to YouTube every week. So the Sunday VOD will go up on Tuesday. The Thursday show will go up on YouTube on Saturday. So we'll be continuing to run those. So if you do miss the daytime stream, then you'll be able to catch those VODs on the YouTube. Exclamation point YT in the chat. I think we're 8 subs away on the YouTube now to get that custom URL, or 7 or 8. So we're getting close on that. So if you're not subbed on the YouTube, please do. If we can get that custom URL, that'll be awesome. We try and grow the channel. Also, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. We post all sorts of stuff on both of those platforms. When I go live on Twitter, on Instagram, we post some pictures and stuff from our live D&D game, which hit DMs. We do other stuff as well, some family stuff in there, pictures of the dog and the kid and all that sort of stuff. So definitely go check out my socials. Chuck us a follow over there as well. Catch up with everything. And of course, make sure you're following the channel so you know when we go live here on Twitch. D&D every Sunday night, gaming during the week. Obviously, we're going to have an extra D&D game at some stage as well, which will be cool because I love D&D. It's awesome. Head is back. So, chat, any questions from you guys before we kick off again? It doesn't have to be about D&D. It can be about the players. We have Het, a.k.a. Baz, a.k.a. GM's brother. We have, obviously, Nutty. You guys all know Nutty. We have Alessandros, Fiala, and Sadiq. Trashman, Yanti, and Mr. Pecker. All long-time followers of the channel. Mods as well to the Twitch channel. And they come and hang out all the time. All drinks will be coming in the post, so sometime in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
What?
Well, Blue Jay wanted a white tea with no sugar. Okay. Trash usually wants a coffee.
So all drinks will be mailed out in the next week, guys. They may be quarantined, just so you know. What were those drow wanting? You'll have to find out. You might have to do some investigations.
Does that mean we have to go back down in those tunnels again?
Yes. Well, you haven't found the items you're looking for yet.
Yeah, I suppose we need those.
Whiskey, welcome back. Yeah, what Yanti said. You got no clue? We got no idea what the drow wanted. They wanted Fiala for some reason, and they were willing to kill to get it.
Everybody wants Fiala.
I think they got a little bit more than they bargained for, though.
Well, you never know. They could have been testing the waters to see your strength. They could have been just, you don't know what they were doing. You have no clue.
Yeah, but
Het will be jealous. The drow wants Yanti.
Het just wants to see a beaver.
He does. He wants to eat a beaver. That's what he wants. But also too, guys, if anyone in the chat that plays World of Warcraft, we have started playing World of Warcraft Classic on Oceanic server Remulus. If you do have World of Warcraft Classic and you want to come and hang out with us while we play, join the Oceanic server, join the Remulus server and create a character. And if you do !GT, you'll get my Blizzard details there as well. Add me on Blizzard. Getting to that, Baz. Join us over there. We're trying to get a guild together. We only need 4 more signatures on the guild charter to create our guild, and we're just gonna. It's just leveling, hanging out, probably doing some dungeons and stuff. So it's just a laid back, fun time, just playing some Warcraft, which I always enjoyed a decent MMORPG. So it's good to go back to the old classic World of Warcraft. So !GT in the chat will give you my Blizzard details if you want to join us over there. Right, so last week, guys, we can only get 1 per account, 1 signature per account. They changed it. It used to be able to get every character on it that way, but they twigged on to that, and now it's 1 signature per account. So last week we had Het making some song references to for Megadeth throughout the entire show, and I decided to give away a Steam game, and we made it so that whoever DM'd me with the correct amount of references from that show would win a free Steam game. Now, I've only had 1 DM, guys, so this is pretty slack on your guys' part. So no one's gone back and watched the VOD. No one's attempted to even win this. So, Drax, you get another free Steam game from me, dude. Because Drax was the only one that DM'd me, and he guessed the exact number.
I didn't know players could do it.
Well, Drax is not a player.
I meant like me.
Well, you're a player, so you probably couldn't. So it was open to everyone, really. I mean, even the players it could have been open to.
So what was the number?
We're going to do it again. I'm going to get Baz to do it again with a different band at some stage, potentially. Or something different. We'll work on maybe a different angle altogether. But the exact number, without the Rattlehead reference, which was obvious, was 17.
Jeez, oh.
There was 17 references to Megadeth songs throughout that entire show, and Drax, who does not listen to Megadeth all that often, mind you, he doesn't know the songs very well either, guessed the exact amount. So I will be, Drax, if you're still here, buddy, I know you're sick, and I hope you get well soon. I will be DMing you another Steam code. You seem to win all my Steam codes, dude. I don't know what it is. It must be rigged. So let me know if you want it. If you don't want it, let me know. We'll organise another giveaway at some other time for another show. But yeah, bear in mind, guys, when I decide to do these Steam giveaways, everyone can enter, especially if it's something like that with references and such. So we may do something with a compass reference at some stage, potentially. I don't know. Or a beaver reference. Or both. I'll have to have a chat with Het about what sort of reference we can use for future shows.
Beaver hunt.
Actually, having multiple references would be a better one because then people can lose count easier.
We could stretch it across all four of the references. We can go with Megadeth song references or any Megadeth reference, compass and beaver references, and also Iron Maiden references, which some of you may or may not have picked up on already. That Het uses. So
anything that relates to roosters and beavers.
Pretty much. So without any more delay, any more questions briefly before we get started? I noticed we had Mr. Moody Gamer dropping by, who is a Mixer streamer, Mixer partner. He's been a long-time supporter of me over on Mixer and here on Twitch. So if you do get a chance, he does stream during the day our time because he's over in the UK. So a lot of you guys may not be able to catch him, but even if you don't catch him, drop on over to Mixer and mixer.com/Moody Gamer and hit him up with a follow at the very least. Really cool dude. Lot of fun to play games with and just to hang out with. So awesome sense of humor. So yeah, I know. I just saw that. But yeah, so yeah. So any more questions? If not, we'll get right back into the show. We've got about just over an hour to go, and we can delve back into the Carrion Crypts. So.
Oh gosh, of course we have to go back.
You have to. You still. When you don't have to go back down, but you still have not recovered.
You were mentioning that it's bright, sunny today.
It is very bright and sunny outside today. Like I say, you've noticed definitely that the atmosphere has changed quite drastically around and in and around the house itself. It seems a lot lighter, a lot more pleasant. Definitely not as dark and dingy and dead as it once seemed when you first arrived.
Het squints heavily and covers his eyes like an alcoholic recovering from the boozy night. He's like, oh, it's so freaking bright in here.
And with that, what are you guys going to do?
Head back downstairs.
Make sure you guys mark off day's rations as well for your long rest. So you redescend back through the kitchen cellar, the kitchen door that leads to the underground crypt. You then, the rope is, I would assume you left the rope there. You climb down the rope back down into the catacombs, down the tunnel, back down another rope into the first corridor you came to. You venture. You're looking at going back to the crypt room. Since you've already
where
traversed.
the big double doors were.
Okay.
Yeah, the door.
And
let's check
as
those
soon as I get down, I start the Rite of Dawn as well.
Okay, so Rite of Dawn is activated. Take your damage for that.
Yeah, did that. Which means everyone can see 20 feet at least.
So it is brightish where you are. There's enough light from Deeks.
Het leans over to Fiona, and actually he doesn't even lean over, he just telepathically says into her head, I can see down here now.
Good hat, I whisper kind of back in his direction.
No, he's telepathically talking this time. No, I am serious. I can see everything, like as if it was daytime.
Okay, Fia, I'm thinking to myself that he's a little more exhausted than I thought.
Yeah, well, you definitely would get that impression.
He just carries on walking as he's telepathically saying this.
Just looking at him a little worried.
Oh, crack up. I just got to have a little bit of a read here for a second. Got so much crap on your page, man. Oh, there it is. I found it.
Yeah.
I found it. Oh, nice. Good to know.
Has Het been eating mushrooms?
What's that? Sorry,
Sorry, I said, has Het been eating mushrooms?
you don't know. You actually don't know a lot about Het, Anari.
No, I know.
So it takes you probably about a good 40 minutes to retrace your steps back down into the big round room where Het had marked the glyphs, the traps. You then turn right down that corridor which you the previous evening were attacked. You move through that corridor back into the room, the tomb where the tombs are, and you are now faced with that large double door, iron strapping. It's a large door, very well built, and yeah, it is definitely shut.
Het, could you possibly cast detect magic?
Het can do that for us. That is, give Het 10 minutes. He will cast it so he doesn't waste his spell slot.
So as a ritual, you set yourself up for your ritual. You cross legs, sit in front of the door, do your bits and pieces required to ritually cast detect magic. As the incantations and things complete, you are now detecting magic, and currently you detect nothing but the magical items on yourself and your party members.
I am detecting nothing. It seems safe at this doorway. Except
Then I will check it for traps.
Roll your investigation for your roll investigation, but add your proficiency modifier to it.
Uh, 18.
18. You check the door, you check the door frame, you check the handle, the iron strappings. You take you're a little bit concerned because you guys have tripped a few traps since you've been down here, so you take a little bit more care in searching the store. And as far as you're aware, there is no physical traps on this door.
See if the door's locked.
The door is not locked. Do you open the door?
I suppose the group wants me to open the door now, yeah?
Yes, but be careful this time.
All right, cautiously opening the door.
Concentrate, lady. Get off Facebook.
Okay.
So you open the door very cautiously. As you go to push on the door does not budge. It appears to be stuck. You sort of give it a shove. The handle turns okay, but you go to push it and nothing happens. But it's definitely not locked.
It steps back 15 feet.
I just instinctively get out of the way.
So I tried nudging in a bit.
So you sort of drive the shoulder in a little bit.
Just a little bit. Not too hard, just a little bit.
Roll a strength check for me, just quickly.
While he's
He's
doing
doing
that,
18.
I want to check the hinges to see if they go in or out.
Good play. Good. Well played. Well played. Indeed, the door opens inward, not outward, not inward. So, but as you check the hinges, you don't say anything. I'm assuming to Alessandros.
No.
Just okay. So
checking
you
to
sort of
see-
look at the hinge and you're looking at the hinge and you sort of thinking to yourself, this is going to be interesting. And Alessandros, you're not putting too much weight behind the shoulder, but it's enough to try and it's probably still a bit stuck. So you bash your shoulder into it, and it just hits solid against that door frame. And you do jar your shoulder, and you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you feel your collarbone crack. It's not broken, but it's you definitely hurt yourself.
Check the door again. Open it the right way.
Roll an investigation check to. Well, actually, no, you don't need to. You can see. You're looking up. You have another look around the door, and you notice the hinges. And you sort of half by turn and look back to see if anyone noticed. And
How's it going, Allie?
Sadiq's giving you this look, which you can tell straight away that he is mocking the crap out of you right now without saying a word.
Carry on.
Did you figure it out, Al?
Don't know what you're talking about.
So you open the door inward. It's still not easy to open. It takes a little bit of a tug to get it to break free from the years of dust and grime and things that are sort of built up around the frame. And the hinges scream as you wrench open the door. The years of rust have sort of taken their toll on these hinges, and it echoes through the entire cavern. It is very, very loud. But the door is now open. And what you see as you swing open this door, give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can switch over to a bear. I've got it drawn out here. Nope, not that one. Nope, this one. What you see is a large room. Come back down here with the camera a little bit. So you see a large sort of semicircled room. That's just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Long one. There's generally nothing in this room except for at the very end. You do notice there's like it's like a chest, but it's more like a much like a small sarcophagus type deal.
Is Hex detect magic picking up anything inside the room?
Actually, I would need to check something. I don't think it will. I just need to double check. Give me one second, please. No, you do not pick up any magical properties from that room at all.
Doesn't seem to be anything magic in here, team.
I think we should maybe check out that coffin.
Hex stays by the door.
Where is it? Stop doing that with your dice, please.
I don't know if you should all open it together. Maybe it's gonna blow up in your faces.
Do we still have light from Sadiq's sword or whatever?
You do indeed.
Are there lights and all that around, or are they burnt out?
There looks to be few old torches around. Most of them have been long burnt out.
I'll use prestidigitation to light the ones that are around.
Out of the 4 or 5 in this room, 1 does ignite. That still has tinder available to be lit.
How high is the ceiling space in this area?
It's almost a dome. Like it starts at the lowest point's about 20-25 feet, and then it domes up into, I'd say the apex is probably about 60 feet in height.
He looks roughly at the center or where the ceiling comes down to about halfway, and he says, "Hit the lights," and he casts the lights up on the ceiling to a spot above them to sort of shake some down above them.
No problem. And Hit does so. So yeah, basically that's all that's in this room. You do see a doorway to one side, to your left-hand side as you walk in. Are you going to walk into the room, firstly?
Yeah, I will.
Who is walking in first?
Ellie.
So, Ellie, are you indeed walking in first?
Yes.
As you step foot through the door, you hear a sound beneath your feet, the sound of cracking, as the floor panel beneath you gives way. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
I'm going to try to reach and grab him.
Also make a dexterity check as a reaction.
16 on my check.
16 on your check. And your saving throw?
13.
13. Okay, with that, I'd say as you both, because you're right behind him, Sadiq, as you both hear that cracking sound as this thin layer of cobblestone gives way beneath Alessandro's weight, and he drops. Sadiq, you reach out and go to grab out for Alessandros, and Alessandros instinctively throws up an arm, and you lock arms in that sort of warrior's grip, and you currently now have Alessandro suspended above a large spike trap. As you look down at Alessandros, with the Het's light being cast into the center of this room, you look down, and probably 30 feet below you, large jagged spikes of all different types. It looks like they're all wooden, but they're all different shapes and sizes, jutting out from the wall slightly down one side and the floor, and there is all manner of bones and things at the bottom of this pit, and the stench is pretty bad too, so you get the impression that there has been things that have not so recently, probably in the last 4 or 5 months, have probably died here as well.
God, I hate traps.
Lift him back out.
You easily lift him back out with your strength, and obviously with the help of Alessandros as well. And as you sort of step back to one side, I assume you go through to one side of the trap. As you sort of step to one side, you hear a grinding sound, and another sheet of what you can almost looks like slate slides out from one side and then lifts up and replaces the one that just broke. And you hear that sort of the mechanical workings beneath your feet, Alessandros. So you can only ascertain that this is some form of mechanical trap that resets every time it is used or broken.
Am I able to find this mechanical, the mechanism and all that?
Roll investigation to look for any kind of mechanism for the trap.
I'll probably do search for traps before I do that. Probably be a good idea.
I have
Investigation either way.
spell find traps I'd like to cast.
Okay, you can cast that spell if you wish.
It's 120 foot range area.
And it detects the trap, but it doesn't tell you where it is, though, does it?
No, it just tells me
That there is
what
a trap.
kind of traps and if there are traps.
Yeah. So you do indeed detect that there is a mechanical spike pit trap or a pitfall trap, but that's the only trap that you now detect. You obviously know where it is because you've just seen it, but that's the only trap you can detect within 120 feet.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Ellie. See, she can do some of your job too.
Poor Ellie.
Do you guys want me in the party, or can I just leave now?
I love you, Allie.
Ellie, while you were down there, were you able to see a pathway that we could take to not set off any more trap?
The pit trap was just that 5 foot by 5 foot square. It was just straight down.
It's a 10-foot area.
Well, I haven't seen anything in the 120 feet besides this one, so I think we're okay for that.
Well,
Might try
in
and
that case,
jump
I'll
over
look for the mechanism then.
Yep. So roll your investigation to search for the mechanism to disarm it.
$22.
It takes you a little while. This mechanism's been well hidden. You sort of search around the area next to the trap, and you go in the room a little bit and round the corner. And round the corner, there's a panel on the wall that looks different than everything else. And you manage to sort of pop out a small thin piece of the wall, and behind it is a whole raft of different gears and a couple of levers and stuff, something you've never seen before. It's very, very intricate. You could only determine it as possibly something that maybe dwarves may have made, or maybe gnomes, but it's very complicated. You sort of get the gist of how it works, and you find have you got any, like, you probably use one of your lockpicks, and you just take one of your lockpicks and you slide it inside one of the cogs, and it locks the cog in place. You know now that it's not going to move anymore. So you'll still probably set the trap off, but it won't reset. So that if you broke that piece of slate now over the trap, it would remain open, so that you could at least see it.
Yeah, we'll do that, then break the trap.
Okay, so you go back and just break the slate.
Yeah.
So you take the handle of your rapier and just give it a good solid whack in the center, and it breaks away. And indeed, you now see that 30-foot deep, 5 foot by 5 foot pitfall trap right in front of the doorway.
Jeez, that was lucky. Good work on catching Ellie, Sadiq. Ellie, I think you owe Sadiq your life.
Not doing that again.
Again?
Let's move on.
So in this room, at the end of the room, you do see the sarcophagus style. It's almost like a chest, but it's about like a big chest size, but it looks like a sarcophagus more than a chest. But it's large. It's stone. If you walk into the room to your left, you have another doorway, which has another fairly sturdy wooden door. Not much else apart from that in this room.
Investigate the sarcophagus.
You want to walk over and investigate the sarcophagi, or the chest type thing in the room?
Is Yela's trap sense still working?
Well, she sensed nothing within 120 feet of your current position, so you feel confident there's no more traps in the room. So,
Alright, heading over to investigate.
What are you looking for specifically?
Is there a way to open it?
As you sort of look around it, being the thief that you are, you determine that it has a lid and it could potentially be prized open.
Is there writing on it of any kind?
What languages do you all speak?
I
We'll go on turn. Alessandro's first.
Elvish, Goblin, Infernal, Thieves' Cant, and an Undercommon.
No, you can't read anything on there, Fiello.
Draconic, Druidic, Dwarvish, and Elvish.
You, Fiala, do notice some script is written on the front, and it is written in Dwarvish. So anyone who can read Dwarvish is able to read what is on the front of this sarcophagus, or this chest, or for want of a better term. And what you read, Fiala, and if you're obviously wanting to read this out to the rest of the party,
Yes.
It reads, Temple of the Battle God. The faithful shall receive a blessing if you bend a knee. And then the rest of it's sort of almost chipped off. It's kind of it's hard to read.
That's me reading it out loud.
I think I saw this in a play once. You have to spell out the name of your god on the stones or something.
I think we should bend the knee, maybe.
Can't
Down
hurt.
on one knee.
Yeah, come here, I guess.
So Fiala, you were the first to sort of come up with this idea. As you sort of look down in front of this, it's not an idol or anything. It's just a big stone chest vault type thing. And as you sort of look down in front and you sort of move the dust net away, you do see there's a round stone that has been worn quite badly in a couple of places, which looks very much like someone has knelt here quite often. And looking at the imprints in the stone, you would gather that it's probably dwarves. It's bigger. It's not big like an orc's sort of knee prints, but definitely small enough to be dwarf-like. Do you kneel in front of the altar?
Yes.
As you kneel in front of the altar, nothing happens. You feel like it could be a holy place, but you feel like something is missing. You feel like, you know from sort of dealing with the spirit of Begilia that just kneeling in front of something is not going to offer any kind of communication or offering. It's almost like you need a prayer of some description or something, or you need to say something.
So I'll say in Dwarvish, I've come to pay my respects to you. See if that.
And with that, you all see it's almost like another light emanates from above where Fiala is, head bowed. She's spoken a language you guys don't understand. And Fiala, you are now blessed. You have a D4 on ability checks and saving throws for the next hour. Just make a note of that. You don't know how long it lasts, but it's going to last for roughly an hour. But you feel this warm energy pass through you as the blessing of the battle god is bestowed upon you.
So I just look at everyone. Did that work?
All you guys noticed was just that slight divine glow for a few, like 2 or 3 seconds, and then it disappeared, sort of around her body.
I think maybe we should try lifting the lid.
Yeah, well, this seems like it's an important sarcophagus, so it's most likely if the items we're looking for are here, they're gonna be here.
There was no detection of magic in this room from what I was aware of, however, unless the sarcophagus is warded.
Yeah, but wouldn't you detect that magic that it's warded?
Roll an intelligence check to see if you would know that. If you want to. Hit, you would probably roll a history check on that to know whether that was the case or not.
14 for hit.
14? It's possible, but if you know if the right wards are placed on something, then no detect magic will pick up anything on particular items. They're warded for those specific reasons.
So yeah, it's possible I could miss it if it's warded. But I mean, yeah, lift the lid. What's another sarcophagus we open, right? Oh, hang on. Defacing the properties of the dead.
Which is something that Hit you still feel fairly strongly about. You don't. Even though your passion is your bardic skills. As a cleric, the defacement of a sealed sarcophagus is something that you just generally don't like to do, and it's just not something that should be done.
Agreed, that's why he was being very sarcastic.
Well, if the items are magical, I don't think they'll be here if there's no traps and there's no magic.
Well, there's traps everywhere.
Well, and one.
Yeah, that's the last one.
You leave the room, Hit?
Yep, it goes to the doorway. Just outside the room where you can still see everyone, but there's
Okay.
facing away.
No problem.
I mean, don't want it to face anything, just want to literally lift the lid and have a look.
You want to try to lift the lid? Make a strength check for me.
I'll assist as well.
17.
And Sadiq, you're assisting, so you roll strength check as well. So it's, you're both going to attempt to lift the lid of this container.
Yeah, one in mid. Yep.
Yeah. And mine was 14.
As you both remove the lid, quite easily. I mean, it's not as heavy as you think it might have been. It looks a lot heavier than you initially thought. You are both hit in the face with a noxious fume as you lift it and break the seal on the sarcophagus. I need you both to roll Constitution saving throws for me.
$15.
15. And your Sadiq?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Inari, you instantly, your body locks up. You inhale this noxious fume and your eyes start to water instantly. The pain hits your muscles almost immediately upon this. It's not a gas, it's just a smell that you can smell in your nostrils. You are now completely incapacitated.
Paralyzed?
You collapse on the floor. No, you're not paralyzed, but you collapse on the floor. You are now incapacitated. Cannot move. You are also poisoned. Sadiq, you feel that same feeling. Your muscles start to lock up. Your eyes start to burn. Your nose, it's almost like it's singed all the nose hairs off the inside of your nostrils, and it burns and burns profusely. But then the feeling of your muscles locking up subsides almost as quickly as it started, and you resist the effects of this, whatever this was. What do you do? Well, actually, what happens with Inari dropping incapacitated to the ground, she drops her end of the sarcophagus lid, leaving you holding one side. What do you do?
Have we moved it or just?
No, she's just pretty much dropped it back into place on her end.
From my end, I'm just going to slide it across so it's diagonally, and then let it down.
Okay, so you put it down, you slide it across diagonally. Your eyes are still watering. You can't really see very well at the moment. It's really noxious. Whatever this was, it was not nice at all. What are you guys doing?
What do we
I'm
see?
doing nothing.
Anari,
Turning
you don't really see anything. You've cocked it to one side. You can't see a whole lot because your eyes are watering. The others hit you. What you see them both react to whatever it is that's hit them in the face. Anari falls almost unconscious on the ground, completely unmoving and incapacitated.
Run over to her and look at her and see if I can cast a spell. No, that's not gonna work.
Once I put it down, I'm gonna go pour some water, pour some of my water skin over her face.
Okay, and once your eyes sort of clear after a moment, and you sort of blink your eyes a bit, and you realise what's happening, you will move over to her and pour some water over her face, and her eyes are completely bloodshot, almost to the point that they almost look like they're starting to bleed. Anari, within a few moments of this happening, you take 42 points of poison damage.
It comes over and says, I warned you, and you did not listen. And he casts Cure Wounds.
Cast Cure Wounds. Roll your Cure Wounds on Anari.
That is 18 points of healing.
18 points of healing. You take 18 points back. Sadiq, you are now racked with pain as well, as you take 21 points of poison damage. Even though that you didn't drop to your knees or were incapacitated by this, whatever this is, something from inside your stomach it almost makes you vomit as this pain just racks you from the inside. And you double over in front of everyone, sort of clutching your stomach.
Ah, damn it, you two. He'll cast Cure Wounds on him as well.
Roll your heal.
But less this time. 10 healing.
10 healing. You take the 10 healing points back. Anari, as you sort of come back to consciousness briefly, your eyes are extremely painful. You blink a couple of times and it's almost like blinking with sandpaper. It's so painful. Your vision is still blurred. You will have, until you can get rid of whatever this effect is, you will have disadvantage on all attacks and ability checks for the next hour.
Still incapacitated, I think.
No, your body's starting to let go now. You're starting to regain that physical component, but the pain is just absolutely excruciating.
Still poisoned.
You are indeed poisoned. You have the poison condition, but you're also at a point where your eyesight is probably half what it usually is, so you will have disadvantage on all attacks as well.
No worries.
So, what are you doing, guys?
It shakes his head in disappointment. Well, I could have seen that coming. Whenever you mess with something that is already dead, long dead, you get punished.
Unfortunately, we have to do it because we need to find these items to kill Kosis. So.
Yeah, that person.
Well, so I mean, are you going to lift the lid again and possibly get hurt again? It seems a little odd.
No, it's actually on an angle. So now that it's on an angle, I'm going to look in the sarcophagus. Is there the items that we're looking for?
No, there is not. There is looks like possibly there is definitely a skeleton in there, but it's not like laid out a full skeleton. It's been piled up, so the skull is sitting on top of the bones. Then next to it is what looks like possibly a piece of chainmail and a small what looks like a small sword, and just from looking at it, you could probably determine it's about the size of a dwarf. So you could ascertain from your experience as a soldier, and Fiala, if you're looking as well, with your knowledge of Dwarven, you can pretty much tell this is probably a shrine, obviously, to this temple, to this god, and this is probably either some sort of saint that they sort of revere and worship, and you have disturbed his remains, which has set off some form of trap.
Is there anything in there that we are looking for?
No.
Oh,
There
so
are not the
let
items that
back
you...
on and let him carry on resting.
well, you can't do a whole lot at the moment.
No, I can't. But it's good.
You could suggest it.
I'm gonna put it back the way it was.
Okay, so you return it to its previous position.
Yep.
No problems at all. And yeah, so you have now, still in this room, you have Inari, who is not looking very healthy at all. Her eyes are very, very red and very, very sore. Sadiq, your stomach is still very painful as well. Whatever you've inhaled is quite potent and is extremely painful. Yeah, so you got another door in this room, and obviously the door you came back from. So what are you gonna do, guys?
I'm gonna head to the new door, the other
door.
Just before you do, maybe be with me a moment. Anari, Sadiq, kneel down in the position Fiala did, and Fiala, can you tell them the words you said, and maybe see if that might help them? You've upset this god, and maybe you need to un-upset the god.
I'm down for trying that.
Right. I'm gonna go over with whoever wants to go first.
I'm gonna actually ask Yala to give us the blessing, and at the same time say we're sorry, but we had to look.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Nos Verada.
Yeah.
We're very sorry. Endure.
Fiala, you get the impression that you get a feeling that something's listening. Like there's definitely something there, and you get the feeling that they understand. Nothing really happens. No blessing is bestowed on anyone else. But you get the impression, just a feeling that they definitely understand that the desecration was not done with any kind of malice. So you don't feel that there's going to be any more repercussions.
Head quietly, so you go.
I was gonna also see if I could add in Dwarvish if they could aid us in finding items we require.
Roll a religion check for me.
While she's doing that, hit quietly cast prestidigitation, and a red light glows over top of both Inari and Sadiq.
I rolled a 17.
17. You that same radiant feeling washes over you, and you get almost like, you know how it's almost like a clairvoyant sort of intuition, and you get a flashing picture in your head of the tomb you just came from. Then you get another quick flash of the corridor that you just came from, leading down into this catacombs. You get a flash of the round room that you started in. You get a flash of instead of going left or right from that room, you go straight ahead. You get a flash of a small square room with stairs leading down, and then the vision sort of fades. And then you notice the red lights above these other two. And Alessandros, the rest of you notice the red glow as well. And it's everyone actually roll a deception check for me here. I want to see if you can hide casting of this, because it is vocal and somatic, I believe.
23.
Oh,
Yeah, if everyone's, I don't think anyone's passive can beat that. So, yeah, you get away with casting the spell and having this red aura sort of appear above these two.
I think I've found the way. Maybe we should follow me. I had some.
You know the way?
I know the way. Maybe.
Naughty way.
Do you know the way?
Good, Fiona. I'm happy to follow you. You don't seem as ungrateful as these others.
All right, so I'm going to start following the visions I saw.
So, to move things on a little bit, you guys follow Fiela as she leads you back through the double doors. You step around the trap. You head back into the tomb where the crypts were. You come back down the hallway where you were attacked by the drow, back into the main circle chamber where you first entered into these catacombs. You then turn to what would have been the north on Het's compass and walk into a square room, which has, as you walk in, it's like a 30 by 30 foot square room. Make sure that I haven't brought anything up here. No, you're good. You walk into the 30-foot square room, and again, more of the mucus and slime coats the walls and ceilings, and there's a set of stairs leading down and directly forward down another long corridor. I'm assuming your loot is still lit up.
Actually, Hit can see fine and he totally forgot to light it up. He lit the room before. He lit the roof of the room.
That's right. So those of you that have dark vision will be able to see. Those of you that don't have dark vision will not be able to see.
My sword's still alive. Anyway.
Sword's still up anyway. Cool.
I'm gonna drink a potion of healing just while we're carrying on doing this.
You can do that. After about half an hour, Sadiq and Inari, I need you both to roll another Constitution saving throw for me as well, please.
Good thing I drank the potion.
11. Inari, you take another 42 points of poison damage as you are racked with pain, and once again your chest and your stomach convulse. Sadiq, yours?
17.
You also take 42 points of poison damage, as again, same thing, same symptoms. Your stomach and your chest just emanate in an immense pain, almost to the point where you feels like your ribs are shattering within your chest, and you both double over in pain as you take this damage, stopping the party from moving forward. You're still in the square room at this point.
Fiona, this is not good. I do not have enough capabilities to heal them all the time if they're going to be dropping like this. Have you something as well, or will we run out?
I'm gonna cast 4th level Cure Wounds on Inari.
Not a problem.
I will do 3rd Cure Wounds on Sadiq.
Inari's heals?
16.
16. So Inari, you take 16 points of healing, and whatever potion you took as well.
I did that before.
Okay, cool.
I did the damage, otherwise I would have been.
And Sadiq's
shocked.
heals?
Unfortunately, I rolled extremely low, 2s and 1s, so Sadiq gets 7 points of healing.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So what are you doing, guys? You've got two of your party in immense pain. It stopped you both in your tracks. You are now pretty much both on your knees, racked with this immense pain in your chest and stomachs. Yeah, Inari then projectile vomits from the pain, because I'm assuming she'd be getting pretty low by now.
He drops his backpack and pulls out one of his books and starts scrolling pages to see what he can find.
If you want to make a medicine check, you can make a medicine check to see if you can discern what the issue is. If you're proficient, add your proficiency. If not, then it'll be just a straight roll.
He gets 12.
12. You get a sense that you've read something about this type of. It's definitely poison. That much you do know. You know, it's a pretty potent poison. More than likely from probably been harvested from a dead carrion crawler. You have read and from your father's stories have heard that a lot of master assassins will harvest the poison glands from a long dead carrion crawler and atomize them in some form with steam and such. If inhaled, can have some serious effects on the victim. Continual poison damage over the course of an hour, eventually ending in fatality if not treated.
Eventually ending in fatality if not treated. I should relate that to the group.
You would also know that a cure poison potion spell or even possibly a lesser restoration would be enough to to remove the effects of this particular poison.
It relays that also. Unfortunately, it does not and has not learned any of those spells in his time. How about you, Fiona? Or even you, Ellie? You have something in your bag of tricks every now and
I have nothing.
It's not magic, so I can't really use the spell magic. I don't have any potions.
that makes 2 of us. And I assume that makes 5 of us.
I have an herbalism kit, but is there any way I can investigate to see if I can use it?
Herbalism probably not so much. You'd have a knowledge of with herbalism. You have a knowledge of plants and some effects that plants may have. I mean, you'd probably have an understanding of a particular plant that may curb the effects of such a poison. But you also know that the area that you're currently in is virtually devoid of plant life at the moment, apart from that patch of growth that you magically grew. And in this particular area, the plant you're looking for was probably not available anyway.
How long since they were poisoned?
Probably about 15 or 20 minutes, half hour at tops.
If only Neymaris was here, because she had cure poison potions in her bag.
Aw.
Who? You don't know who that is. Who are you talking about?
I give him my 2 greater potions of healing.
Okay. And they're the ones that do max heals too, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah, they were bought ones. So, yeah, so you give them 1 each. So you guys both now have a greater healing potion. If you wish to take them, you can.
Very good, Alessandros. That should help them for a little while. At least, I don't know how long they're going to be taking these ailments for, this damage from these ailments.
How much does that? 20?
44 plus 4, so, yeah, 20.
Thank you.
And you can toss a coin to see who gets the potion of healing. I have.
Oh, I have 2 of those. Have you got any sticks? I can give you one as well.
I've got still
As long
3.
as long as you're above your 44 hit points, you should be right to the next hit.
Fingers crossed.
So what are you doing, guys? You going to wait it out? You going to carry on?
So carry on.
Keep on moving. We
Yeah.
can't do anything.
So you proceed
Feeling a bit
after probably about a few minutes. The pain subsides. Inari, your eyesight seems to not get any better, but it doesn't worsen. you move forward, you move down a set of stairs. It's a long set of stairs, probably about 15, 20 feet, 30 feet long, straight down. You now are faced with another long, narrow corridor, and at the end, you've got a T intersection. Looks like it goes both left and right, from what you can tell. You proceed forth.
Fiala, which way did your visions show?
Fiela's trying to think which way her vision showed.
Your vision stopped at the square room and the stairs.
My vision stopped at the stairs, so your guess is as good as mine.
It looks down both ways. Can you see anything?
You don't see anything, but you do see to your right, you see about 20 or so feet, and it goes to a left turn, and to your left, about 40 or so feet down that corridor, it goes into a right turn.
We could always use the eeny, miny, money, mo method, guys.
Go left.
Go left. Do
Which
we all
way's-
agree?
Which way
Yes.
is
Yeah.
north on the compass?
Yes.
North is straight ahead.
So it's like northwestish.
Yes. Northwest would be your left-hand turn.
Go west.
Is it dark down the corridors?
It is dark. There is nothing lit. You do hear. You all hear. It's pretty. It's not loud, but it's loud enough that it could be a concern. You hear that scuttering noises again from the crawlers that you've previously encountered. It is loud enough to be a concern, but not loud enough to be a threat at this point.
Oh, who's leading? I definitely do not want to be in front with those noises going on. I get squashed very easily.
I'll go.
I will.
I could try casting Pass Without a Trace as well.
Got a spell slot left.
I do, because
Cast.
yeah, but we've had that was only
Oh, that was after long rest.
we
Okay.
had that was before a long rest. Yeah. So
Cool.
I'm going to cast.
So use a spell
Pass
slot
Without
and
Trace.
pass. Pass without trace. So that essentially magically hides you guys, for want of a bit of a term. But you still have to roll stealth checks if you wish to be stealthy.
And 10 bonus.
But you add +10 to your stealth checks.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Sweet rolling stuff.
So everyone roll stealth. Those that have heavy armor roll at a disadvantage. But you add +10 to your stealth check.
Oh, natural 20.
Natural 20 doesn't matter with skill checks.
What a freaking waste.
So what's your total?
Mine would be 37.
37?
So super high.
35.
35? Holy crap. So we got the two of your party just disappear.
29.
Melt into the shadows. A third one melts into the shadows.
I
Sadiq,
got a 20.
20? Nice. That's not bad for you.
Hit gets 15.
Did you add the 10 there, Hit?
Hit number 2 has a +3.
Oh, hit.
Oh,
Oh, crap. That's a crack up.
Continuation of my last night.
So, as a group, Hit is sort of... Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, even at a 15, you're pretty stealthy. So, you guys venture forth down the left-hand corridor. You then reach the right-hand turn, and you turn right, and as you turn right, it now breaks into a large rectangular room. As you reach the room, to the eastern side of the room in the far corner, you see piled up in the corner a large pile of this grey-green mucus, and it is covered in the same egg-like entities that you found in the first room that you've encountered the eggs in. To the back of the room is a large tunnel, which you can only assume a carrion crawler has made. Again, to the back western side of the room, back left-hand side of the room, another pile of mucus covered in these large eggs. that you can only assume are more carrion crawler eggs. These ones are slightly larger than the ones you first encountered. You also see, as you walk into the room to your left, to your immediate left, there is a large hole, and I mean a large hole in the wall. The whole corner of the room has been carved out, and it leads into a very large dark tunnel, disappearing back into the earth. There is stonework and that all fallen down in front of it. It's and you hear that that same sound, that skittering sound, but it's loud. It is, you can almost hear a breathing coming from the darkness. And that's where we're going to call it, guys, because I'm not going to enter into any more combat situations or any more situations this close to the end. So we're going to call it there. Next week we will pick up in the egg chamber, we will call it.
Babies.
So we're going to do some XP before we finish up completely. So XP for the evening. We're going to give out 1,000 XP for each for roleplay, because the roleplay was pretty good again tonight. You guys are rocking it. It's awesome. For this particular combat that you had, just let me get to the top of my page. Encounters. Yo, Savage, what's up, bro? I've got to catch up with the character creation over the next few days, man. We've got 2 players done already, bud. So we'll catch up with you at some stage. Total XP will be, with the 1,000 bonus, 3,160.
And 6.
60. 3160.
Sweet.
So, team, we are done for the evening. Another great night, guys. Loads of fun. Chat, you're doing awesome.
I think we're gonna die.
Who knows? But yeah, so Drow attacking from nowhere, disappearing back to nowhere. Disturbed tombs, poisonous fumes.
Yeah.
Down with the sickness.
Come on, get up, get down with the sickness.
You guys sure are down with the sickness. Actually, had 40 plants of
It is a nasty poison. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is a very nasty poison. I did not expect you guys to open that box. I was really hoping you wouldn't, but
I made you to touch it, man. I need to touch it.
that's it. But again, you were 100% correct on that. Anyway, hit, it was warded, and it wasn't magic anyway. It was just a release system for a poison cloud of some description.
I should have known better.
You should have. So should have Ali.
I didn't open it.
You didn't have to, but you should have. I mean, they talked you out of desecrating tombs before.
But if we get a pet carrion baby, guys, we can harvest that poison for ourselves.
Imagine what that could do on my arrows.
Imagine what a pet carrion crawler that's not a pet can do. Because who knows if you can make it a pet? You can but try. You can certainly try.
Pretty sure Rangers can have a go, can't they?
Oh, I'm pretty sure you can give it a go. You can give anything a go. You can give anything a go in this world.
Thanks for the game, but I have to head off.
No worries, buddy.
Yeah, I do too. We've got
Night.
to get up stupid early. in
Yeah,
the
we've got to
morning,
get up early
so-
as well. I've got to go to the dentist first thing in the morning. Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us again tonight. Chat, stick around for a couple of minutes. We are going to raid. But Savage, definitely over the next couple of weeks, man, I'll catch up with you. The link to the campaign's in the Discord. If you're able to make a start on a character, that's cool. If not, I'll get you in the Discord and I will do all the character stuff, and you just tell me what you're gonna create. But I need you to at least click and create the character so that I can drag it into the campaign. So even if you just create a random character and we can readjust it later. Deathvale and Twin Gats, not Deathvale, but Mr. Malice and Twin Gats have created their characters. They're working on backstories as we speak. Once we get your character created, I've just got to catch up with Deathvale, which I'm doing sometime tomorrow in the afternoon. We'll get his character created for that campaign as well. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us again tonight for episode 30. Does anyone in the chat remember when we started this campaign? Because I can't. I'm pretty sure it was like October last year-ish. I get the impression that it was around October last year. So trying to get a rough idea of time here. I can't honestly remember.
I'm gonna go check your YouTube VODs.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, well, I don't know I don't know if I started uploading straight away. I probably did. That's probably the best way to do it, actually. I didn't even think about that.
November 17th, 2018.
So, really November in 2018? Holy crap.
Wait, no, that's wrong. That's
so
wrong.
That can't be right, but it should be more like November 2019. Hang on, playlists. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what it was. April 1st, 2019.
Oh, back in April.
Oh, yeah, that's a way back.
So, episode 29. So, we go right back to episode 1. Yeah, uploaded in April. So, hell, we've been going almost a year.
That doesn't feel like it's that long.
No,
No,
I honestly didn't think we'd been running that long. Well, there you go, guys. Because I know we were running every 2 weeks there for a while. And we did have a couple there. We missed one and we had to stretch it out to a month. But as a general rule, we had twice a month initially. And we only started every week this year.
That's true.
So if you look at it, two episodes a month in the beginning, if we started in April, so April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, it makes sense. 2 episodes a month in that first year, out to weekly this year. So yeah, episode 30, almost a year in.
And Allie and Hit, the only 2 original characters from the start.
Yes, this is true. If we look at our calendar, we have... we're going to actually have a game on our year anniversary as well. So next game's the 29th of this month. And then, so episode 32 is going to be on Sunday the 1st of March. 1st of April. So we will have our 1 year anniversary of Paradym on April Fool's Day.
Oh,
So this could be an interesting episode. An April Fool's episode. This could be fun.
I might have to work with Allie on that one.
I think there's going to be some trickery afoot. With that, who are we going to rate, guys? Who's online at the moment? We've got Mozzie, we've got Wardog, who is I've been playing some Warzone with. Ooh, Friendly Hair's on. They rated us last week, so I think we'll rate them back this week.
How many years have I waited for the one they...
All right, dude. We will catch you we'll catch you next weekend for our next game.
Sweet. I'll see you then.
Later, buddy. So we're just gonna give me a second, guys. We're gonna type into here /raid. Friendly here. There we go. So the raid's gonna go ahead. We're gonna do the thing and the stuff. I'm probably gonna hang out in the Discord for a little bit if anyone wants to come in and have a bit of a chat before we go. Otherwise, I will see you guys on tomorrow night for some gaming. I'm not sure what we're playing. Probably gonna do some more. Call of Duty. I'm really enjoying Warzone. And so we'll probably start out with some Call of Duty regulars, so we get a few people in, and then we'll drop into some Warzone. I know Gung Ho's having some fun with it. We'll rotate people out. We will do some Warcraft this week. Probably Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll look at some Warcraft. But we're definitely doing Warzone as well. So come back and see us 8:30 PM tomorrow night. Cheers all.